Yo! Welcome into the Bare Necessities podcast. I'm John Przanowski. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. The Bears just finished the 2025 NFL Draft. Wanted to jump on here and give my overall thoughts, my overall assessment on how I think the team did. Where do I see this roster shaping up heading into training camp? And what did we make of the overall selections? I mean, if you guys had to give the Bears a letter grade, what would you give them? I feel like it's been some mixed reviews. Definitely not the sexier draft that we've seen in years past. I mean, obviously nothing was going to beat the Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze selections as we saw last year. But it's taken me a couple days to, reassess, do some research on some of these picks. And there's a growing trend about Ryan Poles that I wanted to discuss with you guys, specifically when it comes to the second round pick and second round picks he's had in years past. And I wanted to show you guys that the Luther Burden selection, in my opinion, is going to be the steal of this draft and the best overall Bear selection for the whole weekend. But again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This podcast is brought to you by Super Papaya Enzymes, the after meal supplement. Papaya enzymes help aid in digestions of proteins, carbs, and fat. They help freshen your breath and make you feel like a new person after feeling weighed down. Go get yourself a bottle today. Amazon link is in the description below on my YouTube channel. Papaya enzyme chewable tablets. We promise you'll never take Tums again. So, were you guys one of the guilty ones like me that wanted Ashton Jeanty? I mean, the smoke all day Thursday was the Bears might be moving up. The Bears might be moving up to get Ashton Jeanty. Could they even be moving up to 3 to maybe grab Abdul Carter? I think going into the first round, I was okay with the Bears being aggressive had they wanted to go that route. I just didn't want the Bears to give up a first-round pick next year. Like, that was my big no-no. It's clear and evident that the board didn't fall the Bears' way. Jeanty went to Las Vegas. Abdul Carter went to the Giants at 3. But it's really interesting this year's draft. I feel like a lot of guys that the Bears had circled as their plan A didn't fall to them, and the Bears had to adjust on the fly. The Bears went with Colston Loveland with the first overall selection at 10, the 6'6", 250 tight end from Michigan. Definitely more of a tight end wide receiver hybrid. Was he my first selection? No, he was not. It was definitely a gut punch being at Soldier Field, which, by the way, this is my third consecutive year going to Soldier Field for the Miller Lite draft party. If you guys are a diehard Bears fan like myself, I highly recommend you guys go to Soldier one year for the NFL draft. It is just, it's such a cool experience being around the fan base at a non-sporting event. Like, there's no game being played. You're there just to watch the Bears draft guys, It's just really, really cool. And the folks over at Soldier, they do a great job of putting that event on. I highly recommend it. This year, Tremaine Edmonds was there, TJ Edwards, Devin Hester, Rome Odunze, several other guys, but that we weren't able to see. But so cool. Highly recommend you guys do so if you haven't done so before. Go out to Soldier for an NFL draft party. So going back to Colston Loveland, I think at the time the pick was so underwhelming to all of us in the fan base because we so desperately wanted the Bears to get another sexy pick in Ashton Jeanty, and that didn't happen. And then, the tackle from Texas, Kelvin Banks, he's still on the board, right? Nope, the Saints took him at number 9. So at 10, there was really only one clear-cut prospect that I feel a lot of us, including myself, kind of were leaning towards, and that was tight end Tyler Warren from Penn State. If you guys watch college football as much as I did last year, Tyler Warren was an animal with the ball in his hands. I mean, like, he was like a baby Gronk out there. He was a weapon with that ball in his hands. I mean, Penn State had him running wildcat. They had him throwing passes. They had him lining up all over the field. I mean, he's a physical specimen. The dude is a monster. He's huge. So when the Bears selected Colston Loveland, yeah, it was a little bit of a letdown for sure. But it took me a couple sleeps. It took me researching, analyzing, and understanding. Excuse me. It took a couple of days for me to understand why the Bears and why Ben Johnson specifically went with Loveland over Tyler Warren. He's only 21 years old. He was Michigan's entire offense last year. I mean, Michigan won the national championship in 2023, and then 2024, like, it was just a straight nosedive, straight off a cliff. The only receiving target they really had was Loveland. This guy's an effective route runner for his size. He wins with his hands. He accelerates out of his breaks at the top of his routes. And his NFL comparison, it's Sam Laporta. And ironically enough, Sam Laporta is the tight end that Ben Johnson, our head coach, was just coaching out in Detroit. He seems like a great kid. He was branding steers and cows in Idaho, running rodeos growing up. He's Idaho tough, is what he coins himself as. So I'm going to come around to the pick, and I hope you guys do too. More weapons for Caleb. The first two selections, really, guys, this entire offseason has been all about Caleb. No one is benefiting more from this offseason than Caleb Williams. The help on the offensive line with Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, our new head coach, Ben Johnson, and here comes Colston Loveland, yet another weapon for Caleb. I'm very curious if Loveland is going to be the tight end 2 behind Cole Kmet. How is that going to look? Who's going to get more receiving targets? Who's going to get more share of receiving targets? Is it going to be Kmet or is it going to be Loveland? So many folks that don't know ball don't understand that Ben Johnson loves running 12 personnel. He loves running 2 tight end sets, which makes a lot of sense why the Bears went this route to draft Colston Loveland at number 10. Also, Tyler Warren is another Cole Kmet. He is like that big body tight end bruiser. It didn't make a lot of sense, come to think of it, having 2 of the same kind of tight ends running together. In the moment, yeah, it would have been awesome. And time will tell who's going to be the better tight end, who's going to have a more successful career, because Tyler Warren went just a couple selections later to the Indianapolis Colts at 14. I believe that's where he got selected. Time will tell, but I've come around to the pick, and I hope you guys will too. Moving on, though, the second pick the Bears had on Friday afternoon is my favorite pick of the draft, and it's been disappointing hearing a lot of the reactions from the fan base that have no idea just how good Luther Burden is. Luther Burden III, East St. Louis, Illinois' finest, 6', 205. He was the first 5-star rated recruit to ever attend Missouri. This kid had offers from Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, and he chose to stay close to home and go to Mizzou. He tallied over 2,000 receiving yards, 21 touchdowns at Mizzou. Definitely a down year in 2024, but make no mistake about it. Had he come out and declared for the NFL draft in 2023, if he was eligible to do so at the time, he would have been a top 15, top 20 pick. For all my gamers out there, anyone that plays NCAA College Football 25, yeah, Luther Burden's the 3rd highest rated player in that game. He's rated 94 overall, 94 speed. The only 2 players at wide receiver that were rated higher than Luther Burden in the game, Travis Hunter and Tet McMillan. Kid's a stud. And I know the Bears had needs at running back. I know the Bears had needs at offensive line and edge. So when they went wide receiver, when they went with another pass catcher with the second pick, I think so many fans were so confused and up in arms. And I understand that when your team has needs, you want them to fill those holes and fill them as efficiently and quickly as possible, right? Well, it's clear that Ben Johnson has had his prints on this draft from the start. You know what was a sneaky need of the Bears that has really gone under the radar? And they just filled this hole. The Bears have needed a slot receiver for several years now. Can DJ play slot? Sure. Can Rome play slot? Sure. But like their body type, their game, like this kid, speedy, yards after the catch, like this is what we needed. The Bears needed a slot receiver. They just got it in Luther Burden, folks. This was a need. This was a sneaky need. It wasn't the number one priority for the Bears. I'll come right out and say, I understand that. But to be frustrated that they went with this amount of talent, who was still available on the board at 39, people are downplaying how good of a move this is going to be. And I just want to show you guys a trend too. Ryan Poles hasn't been the best draft evaluator, in my opinion. He hasn't hit on all his picks, but one trend that I have seen since he became our general manager, Poles has hit on most of his second round picks. Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Javon Dexter, Tyreek Stevenson. Still jury's out on Stevenson. It was going great until he took a nosedive himself after the Washington game. But those first three guys, you can't argue with me that all of them have been successful Bears so far. They're not world beaters, although Kyler Gordon did just sign an extension, and I would argue that he's one of the better nickel corners in the whole league. But I rest my case. Luther Burden. Again, I think he's one of the best yard after catch receivers in this whole draft. The only guy that ran a faster 40 than him at the combine is Matthew Golden, who got selected by the Packers, who got drafted ahead of Burden. But I think Burden's tape and his skill set is better than Golden. And I'm not just saying this to throw shade at Green Bay. I really do. This is a scary addition. In my opinion, he reminds me of a DJ Moore, Deebo Samuel kind of hybrid. Love Luther Burden. Love this pick. And I pulled this stat, and this should hopefully make anyone out there that's still hesitant, that's still kind of on the fence about Luther Burden feel a little bit better. There's a list of SEC wide receivers to post 1,200 or more receiving yards during their freshman and sophomore seasons, and it's a small list. But here's a couple names you guys might be familiar with. Jamar Chase, Alshon Jeffrey, Mike Evans, Jerry Jeudy, A.J. Brown, and Luther Burden. It's pretty good company. Pretty good company. I am ecstatic. So happy that the Bears chose him. I couldn't believe it. I mean, he clearly, going into the weekend, I didn't even think he was on the Bears' radar, but he was one of my favorite players in college football, has been for a while, and he finds himself on the Bears. Pretty cool. Moving on, Bears selected Ozzie Trapillo, offensive tackle from Boston College, 6'8", 316, big body, big frame, tall and lean. 2024 first team All-ACC and Boston College team captain. He was invited to the Senior Bowl. His father was drafted by the Saints, started 52 games in his career before a knee injury cut his career short. Hopefully he can challenge Braxton for some competition at left tackle. We'll see. He's a really nice kid. Really like watching his tape, hearing him talk. He's like the biggest baby face ever. So hopefully Ozzie and former Boston College alum Ryan Poles clearly saw something in him. And we'll see if the new offensive line coach Dan Ruchar gets something out of him. Moving on, Shamar Turner was taken with the 62 overall selection, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M, 6'3", 290. More of a developmental prospect that could become a solid 3 technique. Big, strong, athletic defender. Needs to play with better pad level. also needs to control his emotions a little bit. If you guys do a deep dive, you'll see a couple not great clips of him, not playing good, clean, sound football. Some nasty behavior after the whistle, and I think the Bears are going to do a good job and coach him up, clean that up, and make sure that that doesn't happen at the next level. Ruben Hippolyte was drafted 134 overall, linebacker out of Maryland. Zoff Frazier, corner was added out of UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio. He had 6 interceptions last season, so very cool about that. Hopefully the Bears probably view him another, more developmental, and see if Al Harris, the secondary coach, gets anything out of him. Luke Newman, another offensive line, another addition that's going to be added from Michigan State. So that's pretty cool. And then Kyle Monangai, finally, right? Because everyone was up in arms. The Bears didn't add a running back, and they finally did it. 7th round, 233rd pick overall. He was first team All Big Ten Conference in 2024, over 1,200 yards on the ground, ranked second in the Big Ten with over 123 all-purpose yards per game, 27 total touchdowns during his time at Rutgers. He's 5'9", 209 pounds. Good tape on the kid. I really thought all hell was going to break loose that the Bears didn't select a running back in all the rounds, and so many people were pounding the table. This is such a deep running back class. The Bears couldn't draft any of them. Folks, it's going to be okay. I promise it's going to be okay. I was telling my wife this. The one thing the Bears have always found a way to figure out, there's 2 positions we always figure out a way to showcase, to highlight, and we always have good linebackers and good running backs. The history of our franchise, we always have found dudes that played linebacker and running back. So maybe DeAndre Swift is going to have a much more productive season this year behind Ben Johnson, behind that upgraded offensive line. Maybe Roschon Johnson really is the power back we all envisioned him to be. When given the opportunity, Roschon Johnson really isn't all that bad. And folks, for whatever reason, just want to push that to the side. There's a couple guys out there on the street right now that are free agents that would look great in navy and orange. You know who's at the top of the list right now? Who's on the street as we speak? Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is a free agent. Bears can sign him. J.K. Dobbins is a free agent right now. The Bears can sign him. He had a very productive season last year out in L.A. with the Chargers. Jamal Williams is a free agent. The last great season he had, it was under Ben Johnson in Detroit. He's available. Gus Edwards is also available. Also, there's a couple guys out there on the trading block right now. Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. Like, there are guys. Running back, although it's, people want to say that it's a dying position. Yeah, it is. And you can always find new guys to replace what you have. So I understand the frustration that a lot of the Bears fan base felt that, this was such a deep class. Why didn't the Bears get a running back until the 7th round? Well, I think they really wanted Jeanty. And when they realized that they would have to give up the farm to get Jeanty, they stayed firm, they were disciplined, and they stayed at 10, which I'm happy about. And I think it will pay off in the long run. I think they probably had their eye on Travion Henderson. Where did he go? He got selected at 38, right before Luther Burden did. So this was, I think overall, when going back to the overall selection of the draft, it's hard to give an official letter grade. And I feel like it's not fair to give a letter grade until we're 2 seasons in with all these guys before we can properly evaluate where all these guys are at with the team, with the roster. It's hard to evaluate them now based on their college careers and how will they develop to be NFL pros. If I had to give a letter grade, I give the Bears like a B plus. No, it wasn't the sexiest draft. No, it wasn't one of the drafts that, a lot of people had thought the Bears were going to go this route. Yes, there were some people that could see the Colston Loveland pick, but nobody saw Luther Burden coming. Nobody saw that. I think a lot of people, again, wanted a running back and were shocked that the Bears didn't go running back until the 7th round. Are you going to really dog the Bears for that? I understand that. I understand that running back is an important position, but maybe, just maybe, the Bears do believe in DeAndre Swift, who almost got 1,000 yards last year behind a porous Bears offensive line without a real offensive coordinator the whole year, and still was able to be somewhat productive and clearly still has skill. He still has upside. So DeAndre Swift, another big winner from this last weekend. He is our guy. We're paying him to be our guy. So we're moving forward with Swift. Before I wrap up the show, again, this has been the Bare Necessities podcast. Please make sure you check us out on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Would love if you guys commented on the show. Give me 5 stars. It really helps the algorithm. It helps our placement. Really appreciate it. If you guys are fans of the show, share this to a friend who happens to be Bears fans. Trying to grow the podcast, trying to grow the program. All help is appreciated. So to wrap up the show, again, I think this last weekend has been definitely been, mixed reviews. But this draft going into it, I think we all knew that this wasn't the sexiest draft class. We knew that this wasn't like a star-studded draft. So, can we really walk away being frustrated? Can we really walk away from this being like, what are Poles and Johnson doing? I'm not there, and I refuse to allow myself to be there. Yes, was I a little puzzled with the first pick? Sure. Did I want Tyler Warren? Guilty. Did I want Ashton Jeanty? Guilty. But if you wanted Ben Johnson as your head coach, and yes, I'm talking to you. I'm pointing right at you. Whoever's listening, I'm talking to you. If you wanted Ben Johnson just as bad as I did to be the head coach of the Bears, and you're going to poo-poo his draft picks, his selections, the dudes that he wants on this team, what are we doing, guys? Come on. If he wants Loveland to be a part of this offense, you got to get behind it. If he wants Luther Burden, you got to get behind it. The Bears have upgraded significantly since last year. New head coach, Matt Eberflus to Ben Johnson, upgrade. Tevin Jenkins to Joe Thuney, upgrade. Nate Davis to Jonah Jackson, upgrade. Coleman Shelton to Drew Dahlman, upgrade. DeMarcus Walker to Dayo Odeyingbo, upgrade. Byron Cowart to Grady Jarrett, upgrade. DeAndre Carter to Olamide Zaccheaus, upgrade. Gerald Everett to Colston Loveland, upgrade. And Keenan Allen to a younger, more athletic Luther Burden, soon to be upgrade. Not yet, of course, but where the Bears are heading, future upgrade. Things are looking up. Things are getting to where we want them to be. I know we need to see the final product on the field, but overall, I do think that the Bears address the offensive line, they address the defensive tackle, and they got more weapons for Caleb. And all in all, I think that is a productive draft at the end of the day. Whether or not you agree with me or not, that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and tuning into the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Again, this podcast was brought to you by Papaya Enzymes. That Amazon link is in the description below. Anyone that is close to me, a fan of mine, I can't talk highly about papaya enough. I love it. Love that product. Go get you some. Go get you a bottle on Amazon. Highly recommend it. Again, you'll never take Tums again. So for all the fine folks here at Bare Necessities Podcast, again, I'm John Przanowski. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. We're going to get you guys new content coming out probably around training camp. I'm excited for this upcoming year. This is going to be our best year yet. Please like, subscribe, comment. Feedback is a gift. Until next time, be good, be well, and don't forget to bear down. Thanks, guys.